justice for that. You need to arrest all the perpetrators. Boom. From those people who just survived this attack, going after these terrorists, the military will arrest them. Then they will parade them as the real attackers behind the recent attacks in that community you read in the news. They will come out and tell you that the attacks that just happened, that you read, that you saw women, men crying, telling you who attacked them. They will say, no, it's media propaganda. They will say it's some youth fighting over non-existing land. Some youth of the community are the ones who decided to come and burn down their communities, kill their women, kill their children, kill their elderly, and all of that, right? And then came back to the scene. But blame it on Fulani. This has been the modus operandi. We have seen it many times. And that is why you will never see any Fulani terrorists in their court. Because the whole structure is never to legally try them. They can't try them legally. They will tell you they've repented. You will see them do peace meeting with a known deadly terrorist, Fulani terrorist. Government officials, DSS, military, police, all of them, they will attend peace meeting with known Fulani terrorists. They'll tell you that they are doing non-kinetic approach. So we have seen this many times. Many times. And that is why the moment the government is not interested in actually ending the terrorism, or rather to manage and profit from it, not government this time around, politicians will rather manage it, you get, than fix it. They will rather watch lives being lost so that at least they will pretend to be solving something. Take your security vote, buy themselves property outside Nigeria, and if your wallet too much, they will call a security summit. We are now deliberating on how to fix the security problem, and we have decided story. Right where they are holding their supposed security summit, Nigerians are being hunted down like animals in a game reserve. You know? So, a time is coming when everyone will understand that, like those of you who want to go and contest election, and then those of you who believes that, those of you who wants to fight the Fulani terrorist, what you will find out later is this, like the election, your real competitor or your real competition is not APC, Egbekegbe. It is the INEC, the entire institution that is built on compromise. It is there to do exact purpose, the reason why it is set up. Similarly, the Fulani terrorists that are roaming about all over Nigeria, they are the number one surveillors in Nigeria, by the way. The Fulani terrorists, they have the map of every part of Nigeria than your geographers and the rest of them can even imagine, can ever produce. So they said they are nomadic. Oh, they go about with their cows. They are just like that in their nature. But they have now proven to us that moving your cows about far away from your own region is a national security risk. Fulani herdsmen, they are national threats. If not to Nigeria, they are to the indigenous people of from Edo Belt down to the southern part of Nigeria, and everyone else who can see them that way should speak out. Fulanis and their cows, they are threats to the national security of the Yorubas. Fulanis and their cows, they are threats to the national security of the Biafrans. Similarly to every other indigenous people of that contraption right now. They are. Because they are those who knows how vulnerable a community is. Where is the house of their village head here? The village chief. Where is the police station? Where is the entrance? Where is the exit of this community? How far is this community to the next military post? How far is it to the next, hospital? How far? I mean, how many young people are here? What is their trade? Are they just farmers or are they hunters? Do they have guns? And their women, what kind of like lifestyle do they have? Are they traders? Are they travelers? All those informations can be easily provided by these nomadic Fulani terrorists. And right now, in the southern part of Nigeria, even though it is on paper, but still, it is illegal for you to move cows. Open grazing is illegal in the southern part of Nigeria. But guess what? Then get laws. Oh, to implement the law is the problem now. Law says if they see you move cow in any part of southern Nigeria, any state in southern part of Nigeria, from Yoruba land to the Igbo land to the Ijo, Isheki, the Yoruba, and every other land like that. Oh, I'm not sure that of the Middle Belt, by the way, but I'm very sure of that of the southern Nigeria. As horrible as those criminal politicians are, they fooled our people by making laws that nobody will execute. 2 days ago, they kidnapped an Amotekun officer in Oyo State. I don't know if they've released him. And in Ondo State, a news said, oh, Amotekun void about 6 kidnapping or kidnap attempts in Ondo State. So it is illegal. Who is going to arrest them? Nobody say law no day to arrest them. Oh. But who is going to? So they fooled our people. And our people are still pretty much exposed to this danger. How can that not worry anyone who claim to be a leader? How? And if it worries you, oh, I'm very worried. Bro, what are you doing about it? What have you done about it? Asking people to part with their lands? That Fulanis could go as far as Baba Fulani could walk or whatever from Shokoto, abi futa gallon, abi futa sorrow, abi futa sadness. Very like about 1,000, 2,000 kilometers straight to Bayelsa in the creek, inside creek, to go and kill farmers, kill women on their way to kidnap people, ask for ransom. How is that logical? How is that sensible? That somebody will say, oh, we are worried. We are working. We are doing everything to make sure that there is peace. There's no peace when you don't have justice. And we'll continue to speak on that. Right? Yesterday's survivors, they are today's victims. Today's survivors, they are the potential tomorrow's victims. Nigeria will happen to all of us eventually, as it is happening every day. You might have everything you think will shield you from it. Nothing shield you from the Nigeria, the consequences of the ruiners that are in charge of that contraption. Nothing shields you from experiencing or sharing from the consequences, so to say. But what is shielding you or making you feel like it's none of my business, so it no go concern me, is because somewhere in that your brain, right, there is this, I don't know what they call it, but there is this something that is blocking the part that will let you actually see that it affects you. And that part that is covering that your brain is also can be referred to as, or is making you to live in denial of it. If you sit down and you look very well, you may not be a direct, it may not be directly affecting you, but it affects you every now and then. Okay, from your finances to your own health care. I am talking about those of you who are a little bit better off. They can say, you know what, there's nothing anybody can do about these people. It no will concern me. It will. It does concern you, right? So you can think about that. Again, the burial of Awujale, the late Awujale of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru Adetono, the man that died at the very ripe age of 95 or thereabout, has now triggered the conversation around the traditional institutions in that contraption. There are so many things, or should I say, there are so many lies about Nigeria and everything that they have put together as, the factors or something that brought about or bonds this contraption together. Lies. And it is getting to that stage where when you begin to question them, you are likely going to see through some of the lies. Traditional institution. In Nigeria, they have their religious institutions. They have traditional institutions. And then they have, government institutions, so to say. But you have an idea of what I'm trying to say here, right? Don't worry. I am taking on that of the traditional institutions. I am a Yoruba man, an Ijebu man for that matter, right? And I do remember that one of the things that we were told why people do run away, or when I was younger, right? Why people were running away from becoming kings, especially in Yoruba land. It is believed that what makes you a king is because you have voluntarily, maybe after being chosen, and you have voluntarily accepted to abide by every rule that guides the institution you want to put yourself into. So my mom and then my late grandfather were the first set of people who told me that to become a king, you must eat the heart of the dead king. Because there is a particular ritual called Ikwebi. That is where you are going to start the initiation, the process of actually making you the bona fide, qualified by all standard. If you finish that right, that will make you the king. But when I grew up, when I became older, I realized that sometimes what makes our tradition a little bit dreaded for some is because of the exaggeration and then the secrecy that is associated with the process of the Yoruba traditional practice. So they have used the religion to blackmail, to blacklist, and to pretty much like, I wanted to use the word devilized the traditional practice. No thanks to this your Christian and your and your Muslim, Islamic and Christian religion. They have played so much. In fact, Islamic and then what do you call it? Islamic and Christian religion in Nigeria, they were built on converting people away from evil way, the traditional way. However, the royal stools, the traditional royal stools in Yoruba land is not about butchering anybody to be king. That is pretty much like far-fetched. And from what I heard and know, this practice has been long dropped. But just to make it pretty much like somebody who becomes a king just ate the heart of the dead king. Instead, when the king dies, they will take him into the court, will take him to their inner chamber. They will open his heart, open his chest and remove his heart, which will then be prepared for whoever is going to be the next king. That practice no longer exists in Yoruba land. No. It's been like long, right? But again, there are other rituals, preparations, which includes teaching this new king what matters and what doesn't when it comes to the tradition, the culture, and every other thing about the place he's about to be a king over. Practice that has been in existence for centuries, say that, centuries, but it has become, blacklisted in such a way that they want it to go extinct. Now, a man that became king at a very young age, when he was brought back from London, and this was the 2nd of April 1960, Awujale. And then he was crowned, before he was crowned Awujale, they took him through all the traditional rituals, the process and everything that practically prepared him to be able to sit on a throne that makes everybody to go and bow for him as the traditional ruler, not as the Pope or what do they call that, chief imam of Mecca or anything. Is the Awujale, the traditional ruling, the traditional institution, Ijebu, traditional institution, Yoruba, traditional institution. But because religion is all over the place, the man enjoyed all the benefits of that tradition that made him king. He enjoyed everything. Everybody came. He made so much money. His children made so much money. And when it was about the time for him to die, he decided to bury that tradition. Like, no. I am a Muslim. Therefore, I am going to be buried by Muslims. It didn't stop there. It went as far as, lobbying this dubious Dapo, the governor, to change the law. The law that says anybody that becomes king in Ogun State, they are doing it everywhere right now. These are supposed to be the Yoruba sons, Abi, and the Yoruba leaders and Yoruba elders, Abi. And what makes them Yoruba? Because they can put on Yoruba agbada, dress, and put beads, heavy beads on their necks. Drive these expensive automobiles that were given to them simply because they say they are traditional rulers, not religious rulers. So they enjoyed all the benefits for years, all his life. Then suddenly, he didn't want to be associated with that tradition again. No. I can't let court Ogboni people to come and take my body. Nah. I am Allah. Allah is my Allah. Allah is my God now. Allah is the one, the greatest, the highest. But no be Allah make you Awujale or make you any king in Yoruba land. So this is what is getting a lot of people to say, how sensible is this? Can we possibly just stop talking about traditional rulers and call them, give them another title, just give them something, like you have all the politicians, and let everybody stop trying to cosplay, cosplay as traditionalists. They will come around. You will see some of, Oni, that one never talks, say, they know, so that one has faced the tradition proper. But you see so many of them, they will say that Jesus is the king. Jesus is this and that, and you are wearing a traditional crown. You are supposed to have passed through the normal traditional ritual that made you king. Are you not mad? So we are now watching those who were supposed to protect and preserve the Yoruba culture, the Yoruba tradition, including the Yoruba traditional institutions, desecrate all of them. They have desecrated all of them, and we are watching it. So is it not time to stop this cosplaying about, How about we just leave all this drama about, a king, because there's absolutely nothing relevant about it anymore. In another 10, 15 years, you have all the political obas everywhere. So what exactly makes them oba now? What makes them different from you and I? Because that, I mean, I'm not going to go and bow for anybody who says he's a Christian king, Abi is a Islamic king. I'm not going to go bow down for you. I will avoid you. Like, nobody say I go get there, I will come. No, I won't even, I will avoid you totally. Like, why should I be around you? Eh? You are not a king in Saudi Arabia. You are not a king in Jerusalem, Abina, Israel. What have you? In Yoruba land, right? A king doesn't have any other religion than his traditional religion. His job